We have some shots fired. We're on Athens.
Shots fired as our 16 WAPT crew was in the middle of an interview.
Police say Heisen pulled out a gun.
We did not see what happened. We do not know where those shots came from.
Where police are investigating what happened.
Against violence.
You don't have to be a part of it. You can make that choice not to be.
You lose a loved one to violence, that it just rips a part of you out.
So I want everybody just to pray for my family.
We have a choice to help each other as a community and as families. We have a choice to walk away.
But this is the problem. We fool ourselves sometimes. We pretend that we don't need that awesome God.
One thing I can say to you that I know we do have a choice.
Violence is a decision. It's a decision that you make.
Skeletal remains were found last week. This is what happened.
Shut up and sit down before I make change out of you and you. If you don't take that mess over there right now.
We're going to go ahead and walk down to the courthouse where we'll hear from some of the speakers. I just want to thank everybody for coming out for this very important moment. This is our 5th annual.
But again, we want to take this opportunity to thank you all for participating this morning. It's about stop the violence. Violence comes in many forms, and I think all of us have witnessed one form of violence or another. So this is what it's about. Walking, making people realize that we are here in an effort to try to stop the violence here in Vicksburg and Warren County, Mississippi.
Stop the violence!
No more violence!
No more violence! Stop the violence! Stop the crime! Stop the violence! Stop the crime!
Good morning. I want to welcome all of you here for our 5th annual Walk Against Crime, Stop the Violence. This has proven to be very successful since we started in 2010. We have always had great participation. I just want to let you know that we're going to continue the path that we're on in terms of keeping our city and county safe, but it's because of you as partners that we can continue on this path. At this time, in the absence of the mayor who's visiting with some other visitors in our city, I want to introduce our Mayor Pro Tem, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem Alderman Michael Mayfield.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Again, I'd like to say good morning to all of you. And again, I thank you for being here today. I want to first, before I do anything or say anything else, I want to recognize our Sheriff, Sheriff Martin Pace. Let's give him a round of applause, if you will. Our DA, Mr. Smith. Y'all clap loud for him now, because he's the one that actually helps keep them off of us. And most of all, our police chief, Chief Armstrong. I think we're very fortunate here in Vicksburg and Warren County to have the police department and the sheriff department that we are afforded to have. I think between the two of them, they do an absolute wonderful job in trying to make sure that you and I are as safe as humanly possible. Crime affects all of us. If something happens to you, it happens to me. I remember, and those of you that remember when we were kids, we had real nosy neighbors. Raise your hand. Now we want nosy neighbors, okay? That goes to show you how things change. because when we were young, we actually looked out for one another. We watched one another's back. And now we're more often to turn our head and say, I didn't see this or I didn't see that. But I want to leave you all with a very sure and firm message. That message is, if you turn your head on your friend and your neighbor today, that just might happen to you tomorrow. All of you all remember that. Thank you for coming.
Again, thank you, Alderman Mayfield, for those kind and encouraging words. Let me just say, on behalf of the Vicksburg Police Department and the City of Vicksburg, I want to thank Angela Turner and Danita Reed and all the other partners that work diligently to bring this event about each year. It takes everybody working together collectively. Contrary to popular belief, police in and of itself doesn't solve all the crime. It takes the community being involved. And I often say that we cannot stand idle and not take action when the crime is not perpetrated on you. But when it's perpetrated on others, we have to react, because it may not be you today. But if we keep our mouth closed and say that that's someone else's business, then it may be you the next time. So I encourage all of you, as this community has done in the past, to embrace strict law enforcement. And that's what we have seen. We recently made an arrest on individuals in our community for stealing lawn equipment. We didn't see them ourselves, but others saw the crime being perpetrated and they called 911. And as a result of their involvement, we were able to get all the equipment back to the owner. And that is what we need. We have several neighborhood watch programs in our city. Well, we're having some technical difficulties right now. But at any rate, again, continue to work with us. We have several neighborhood watch programs. We started off about 5 years ago with only about 5 or 6. Now we got above 20 neighbors watching out for one another. Now, each and every day as we watch our television, we can see where crime are running rapid in areas not very far from us. But it's not happening here, and it's because of your involvement. So again, thank you so very much for coming out. We have a sheriff department and police department that works together hand in hand, and on the back of my t-shirt, it exemplifies that by saying law enforcement working together. We cannot be divided, because what affects us in the city also affects the residents out in the county. So I want to say thank you to Sheriff Pace for the work that you do in terms of working together with you and your deputies, with the Vicksburg police officers, to keep our city and county safe. Again, thank you for coming. God bless you. And at this time, I'm going to yield the floor to Sheriff Martin Pace.
Thank you. As Chief Armstrong mentioned, it's our job to help you. We need your help to do that. I know most of you here today. I see families of family members that have been victimized, some cases yet unsolved, and we are working for you. The Sheriff's Office, the Vicksburg Police Department are your employees. We are paid by your tax dollars, and we're here to serve and protect you. but our job would be near impossible if not for the community's involvement. Especially for the kids that I've talked to at school groups, you've heard me say this before, that violence is a decision. It's a decision that you make. You hear that, and I hear people say, well, somebody got in trouble or something because of a mistake. It's not a mistake, it's a bad decision. It's a bad choice. Violence is no different. To act in a violent way is a choice, and it's something that we need to teach our children in our homes, in our churches, that there are other ways to solve problems other than through violence. I know the police department and the sheriff's office here in Vicksburg have a true partnership. We have a working relationship that puts city and county officers together all the time on various cases. We're proud to work for you. We're proud that we all work for you, but we certainly need your help in helping the rest of the community, whether it's your children in your home, your Sunday schools, your youth groups, to I hate to use the word preach, but preach to your children that there are other ways to solve differences other than violence. Thank all of you for being here today. I think this speaks so well of our community to see all these faces here today that shared in the walk from City Hall to the county courthouse. So may God bless all of you. May all of you have a blessed day and a blessed weekend. Thank you.
At this time, we're going to hear from retired Lieutenant Beeman from the Vicksburg Police Department.
Good morning. Giving glory to an awesome God. I was trying to figure out what I was going to say when I got up here this morning. I got 29-year law enforcement experience. But I know one thing, through all the time I've been in law enforcement, through all the time I've been in those situations where I didn't know how I was going to get out, there was always something that brought me through that, and that was that awesome God. So I'm telling you here today that it don't make any difference what's going on in your life, what's happening with you, there's someone looking out for you. But this is the problem that we have with that, is that we fool ourselves sometimes. We pretend that we don't need that awesome God. We need him every day, all night. We always need him. So what I'm telling you today is that I saw the sign, we make the difference. I want you to look at the man in the mirror for a few minutes, because that's where it starts. It starts with I. That's where it starts. It starts with I. I can make a difference. Every woman, man, child here can make a difference. And all it takes to make a difference is caring hearts and a positive attitude. If you have those things, you can change anything in your life, anything in anybody else's life. You can't see the kids walking on the street and not be concerned. All you have to do is make a call. We have an excellent sheriff's department, we have an excellent police department. Call them. They can't be everywhere, we know that. Just like you can't be everywhere. But you can pick up the phone and call, and that one call will make a difference. I often tell this story, I say, well, you'd rather have that child walking the street, mugging you in the alley at night, or you'd rather have them in school learning how to take care of you if you're in the nursing home. So you gotta make that choice. That's your choice. And to the students, I tell you this, just as the sheriff said, violence is everywhere, but it starts with you. You don't have to be a part of it. You can make that choice not to be. So it's a decision to make, and that's what all life is making choices, good and bad. There's two roads in life. There's that bumpy road with all the potholes in it, and that's that smooth road with those steep curves in it. You gotta make a choice which one you wanna be on. If you get on that bumpy road with those potholes, that doesn't say you can't get off of it. But if you get on that smooth road and you're doing what you're supposed to do, there are gonna be some still obstacles in life. There are gonna be some deep curves that you gotta get around, but you gotta slow down. This is the test that you gotta do. Because young people, let me say this to you. God is not in a hurry. So you need not be in a hurry. Take your time, enjoy life. Enjoy what you got right now. And God will walk with you. Don't run off and leave him. Take your time and walk with him. And all I can say to everybody here today is that I can make a difference. You got to say it to yourself. I can make a difference. It's not too late. Each person can make a difference, but it got to start with the mirror. Look in the mirror when you get home and say, I can make a difference, because you can. Thank you.
Okay, once the law enforcement officers have done their job, the final length in this chain to take it across the line ends with our district attorney's office. And we have our district attorney here today, and I want to bring him up and let him have some words. And after that time, we'll hear from some of you that want to have some comments.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here today to come talk to you a little bit about violence and what it does to our community. You know, in the district attorney's office, just like these law enforcement officers, we deal with it every day. We see what violence does. We see the effects that it has on the people that live in this community. When you lose a loved one to violence, that it just rips a part of you out that never can be replaced. And we understand that in the DA's office. We try our best to make sure that the victims of violence and the families of those who have been lost to violence get the justice they deserve. I understand that we're not always successful, but I wanted to tell you one of those reasons is we need your help. You don't know, this year alone, 2014, we're only in April, I can tell you there have been multiple times we have either not gotten justice or have gotten less justice than we think we should have because we've had individuals who just didn't want to get involved. We've had witnesses of crimes that wouldn't come forward. We've had people that could come and testify to help us get convictions that would hide from us when we try to have those trials. Without your help, we can't do what we do. I want to commend Sheriff Pace, Chief Armstrong. They have both built two very fine organizations, and without their help, we can't do what we do either. They are the first step. They are the ones that gather the information that we use in order to make the convictions that we get. So without their work, we couldn't do what we do. So I want to commend them on that. But I also want to have one other person come and talk to you. I've got two people that work in my office that are victim assistance coordinators. They work every day listening to the victims, working with the victims, having a shoulder to cry on. They have hearts big as the state of Mississippi. I don't know how they do what they do because every day they give a little part of themselves to those people who have lost loved ones who have been victims of crimes. And so I'd like to introduce now Susie Calvert. Susie's one of our victim assistance coordinators.
Good morning. I prepared, it's not going to be long, but I prepared something in writing. But each April, communities throughout the country observe National Crime Victims' Rights Week by promoting victims' rights and honoring the crime victims who we advocate on their behalf. This year marks the 30th year of victim services, where in 1884 the Victims of Crime Rights was established, and that was to broaden the services that are given to victims of crime. And with now nationally and locally, as we gather here today and walk against crime, and it's a time for us to reflect on those that we've lost and those who are still trying to overcome the struggle of violence. And today is a day that we come together in order to raise awareness and support of victims of crime and victims' rights. This is our way of showing families that we come in contact with that we care and we are passionate about serving our community. We realize their pain is something that will last an eternity, and therefore we will proudly carry the burden of prosecuting cases, our DA and assistant DAs, fight for justice on behalf of the victims and their families, and ensuring victims' voices are heard and that they receive the services that they so righteously need. With that in mind, the Office of District Attorney, which serves both Issaquah, Sharkey, and Warren counties, led by our extraordinary District Attorney, Mr. Richard Smith, the ADAs, Angela Carpenter, Lane Campbell, Bert Caraway, along with the support staff, Chastity Wright, Melinda Braxton, and victims assistant coordinators, myself and Ms. Brenda Terrio. Investigators, Janice Harrison and Chris Larkish, we have an open door policy to our victims, and we are available to serve you in any way that we can. Thank you.
Before I allow open mic, let me just say a little bit about our Crime Stoppers program. As you know, the City of Vicksburg Police Department as well as the Warren County Sheriff Departments are members of Crime Stoppers. So that's another tool that we use to help solve crime. Crime Stoppers, all your information will be kept confidential. They don't ask for your name. When you call Crime Stoppers and you give information, they give you a code. When you call back to check on the information that you sent, you use that code. If your information leads to an arrest, you can receive monies from Crime Stoppers. If you are awarded that money, they would give you a code. You would go to a drive-through bank in Flowood, and you would present that number, and they would give you cash money. So please know that Crime Stoppers work. We use Crime Stoppers shortly after joining it to solve a very violent case here in Warren County in Vicksburg. And that person received a large sum of money. I have no idea who they are, don't need to know, but the fact remains, had it not been for that tip, then that case very well could still be unsolved. Again, everything is confidential. No names involved. Everything is kept under wrap. But as a result, we were able to get this individual off the street and into the state penitentiary for the next 60 years because it was a very violent crime. And that is the reason I said on the onset that law enforcement by itself can't do everything it takes to keep you safe. Yes, we can pick it up and go forward with it, and it takes law enforcement and their training, their professionalism to be able to get a conviction. But again, it takes people like yourself working together with us to keep our community safe. And I have to say you've done a wonderful job. So at this time, what I want to do is open the mic up to those who want to have some comments. And we haven't been here very long, so we still got some time. So at this time, we'll yield the floor to whoever wants to speak. And I see this lady with this white t-shirt on, big earrings. You want to have some comments? Come on. Come on. We're going to stand with you. Thank you. Tell them who you are and who you represent.
How you doing? My name is Chantel Darden, and I'm the sister of Chanel Burden, the niece of Darlene Wallace, and the cousin of Tiger Robinson. March 2012, got the devastating news of my sister. Went from missing to actually she was actually murdered. That took effect on my family hard. And in December of 2013, I lost my cousin. It affected my auntie. She had a heart attack. I never knew death could affect a person until it actually hit home. And they were real close. People person. We're there for everybody for support. Last year, Darlene was here to support my sister, Chanel. This year, we here to support Darlene, Koo, and Tiger. It get me every time, so I try to stay positive about the situation, post pictures, think about it, talk about it. I never gave up hope. We got a strong family, and we also respect it. So I'm telling everybody that death does hurt, and it do affect people. I'm living, but I'm still affecting death because I lost 3 people, 2013, something that never could come back. But I just want justice. That's all I want. Thank y'all, everybody.
I said, baby, I want to do something. He said, do what? I said, I don't want Terry's death to be in vain. And that's why I started this. But it pains me so much. It hurts so bad. When I walked up here, I would have standing room only. Because this is serious. We need to do something. We need to do something. This needs to be bigger. It needs to be better. Because like you say, baby, death does hurt. It hurts bad. And if you haven't walked a mile in my shoes, you don't know how I feel. It hurts. It hurts so bad. It still hurts. That's it. I'm through.
Okay. Do we have anyone else? Miss Fundren.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Linda Fondren, but I also have a story because my brother was shot and killed over a conversation. But what gets me even more so is that the person that shot him could not live with the pain, so he hung himself in his jail cell. So you have to remember sometimes that we're in an argument, but like it said so many times, we have a choice. We have a choice not to provoke that argument as well. We have a choice to walk away. Now, none of us will ever see our loved ones again, but we're here today to tell everyone else that we do have a choice. We have a choice to help each other as a community and as families. One thing I can say to you that I know, you know that I am about health. If we get healthy in our minds, in our bodies, in our spirits, we make those better choices. We make so many better choices. So I encourage you to get outside in nature just like we did today. Take a walk. Be with your family. Be with your children. This is the way they learn. Just as Alderman Mayfield said, when we come together and as a family and everyone is looking after everyone else, we make better choices. So I'm going to encourage you that on May 3rd, there is a walk downtown at the farmers market, the beginning of the farmers market. We talk about healthy eating. We talk about bringing families together. We get out and we exercise. If you are healthy in your body, mind, and spirit, we're able to live better with that pain, and we make better choices in our life. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You may have to stand right here by me because I'm very emotional.
That's fine.
On May the
Introduce
2nd.
yourself.
Oh, I'm Kathy Pay. My daughter was Michelle Vega. On May the 2nd of 2011, her 14-year-old stepdaughter shot and killed her. I would like to thank the Sheriff's Department, the DA's office. Miss Brenda has been a lifesaver. Death does affect us, all of us, not just the person who dies. The whole family. Michelle had 2 sons. It is, I don't know how you grow up without a mother. My mother was always there for me. The Sheriff's Department, the DA's office, I could not have made it thus far without their help. They have been wonderful. Stay in touch with your children. Know what's going on in their lives. Be there for them. And maybe this won't happen again to another family. Death is, you can't take anything back that has happened. I want to thank God, and I want to thank everybody for being here. Y'all know I lost my daughter and my favorite sister and my nephew. I had 2 strokes, a heart attack, and then I tried to commit suicide after I lost my daughter. So I want everybody just to pray for my family.
Yes, I grew up in a violent family environment until I was like in 5th grade. And it was my dad. He used to abuse and mistreat my mom and fight all the time. And my mom had 11 kids. And one day she got tired of it. So my dad, he was alcoholic. And he went to sleep. And she had decided that she was tired of the violence and the beatings. And she decided she was going to electrocute him. But before she got ready to, there was a knock at the door. And that's the only thing that stopped her. But that was God. Because my mom had 11 kids, and her sister had probably 16. And there was no one who could take care of us because her sister had her own kids. So, even though my mom and my father, they were married, and back then she had no way out, I would just like to echo that if you are involved in a violent situation, you have choices. Don't stay there. Just walk away from it. In some cases, I mean, you might not be able to right then, but find a way to get out of it because it's only going to get worse, day by day, day by day. Or, in the end, someone is going to die from it, behind it. Because a dog gets tired. Everybody gets tired. So I would just like to say again, stay away from violent situations. You deserve more. You don't have to take that. Keep your spirits high, your heads high, and get healthy. Thank you.
Hey, I want to speak on behalf of the Wallace family. My mom got killed on the streets of Vicksburg back in 1984. She got stabbed here right off of Cherry Street. I was 3 years old at the time. I'm 33 today. I lived without a mother for 30 years. And look what God got here. You know, sometimes during a death situation, man, you got to keep your head strong. Not order for your family, but for yourself as individual. Cause it'll, you know, I don't have a brother or sister that I can cry with and say, well, man, I miss mama, or girl, I miss mama. I gotta say it to myself, so I gotta be strong to myself. But when my mom got killed back in '84, she got stabbed. And she had a little fight. But the city of Vicksburg, they fixed the situation immediately. The lady that killed my mother, she's out of prison now today. She did 7 years. But when I see her on the streets, a lot of people ask me, man, what you gonna do about that woman killing your mother? I said, it's nothing I can do, it's what God gonna do to her. You know, and when I see her, I seen her like here just the other night. And when she seen me, she called my whole full name. I never knew who she was because I was 3 years old. My mama left here. And she remembered me like it happened yesterday. And she said, how you doing? I speak to her, how you doing? And she looks at me like I'm supposed to do something to her, but I'm not the person that gonna do anything to her because I know what God told me he gonna take care of that on Judgment Day. And she asked me for $5. I immediately went in my pocket and gave it to her because it's not what I got against her. It's what God gonna deal with her. You know, so I want to tell y'all, you know, we live and, you know, a lot of people look towards you and what you gonna do when you have a death in your family about what happened in the violence. Don't you get involved with the violence because it'll also get you in trouble. You know, you got to actually turn your head the other way and let the officers here that's in the city of Vicksburg do their job. Don't you go out and do their job for them. And I just encourage y'all, man, to keep your head up and, you know, it's going to all work out for the better. You know, I see the city and the county is here to join together to try to solve y'all problems. So, you know, don't rush them, let them do their job, and eventually something will happen. And I just want to let y'all know I love y'all, man. Y'all got my prayers going up every day for y'all. All right. Thank you, bro.
What's your name?
Antonio.
Okay.
I appreciate listening to all your stories. I'm Georgia Grodowitz, and I'm a director of Haven House Family Shelter. I don't know how many of you know about us, but we're a domestic violence shelter, and we have a physical shelter for refuge for anyone who is trying to get out of a domestic violence situation. You can give us a call. Our number's in the paper. It's all over the place, but it's 601-638-0555. If you call us, you don't have to want to come into shelter to call us. We're there to help you in any way we can, as far as any type of situation with domestic violence. Maybe you don't even know if you're in a domestic violence situation. I've actually had people call up and say, you know, I don't know if this is domestic violence or just a marital dispute. You can call us and talk to us, and we're always there to listen. We have a crisis line 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's always somebody at the end of that phone. And listening to the lady who was talking about growing up in domestic violence situation, there is a way out. There is a better way to solve problems rather than violence. And, you know, it begins in the home. If we're violent in the home, then the children that grow up in that environment, what's going to happen to them? They're going to grow up and they're going to learn to deal with conflict in a way that's violent. So let's begin in our homes and have peace in our homes. Thank you.
Okay, before we close, we're going to hear from Angela Davis with closing remarks and a poem. But before I bring her up, let me just say that it takes very little intelligence for a person to put a gun to someone's head and pull the trigger. It takes very little intelligence to do that. But it takes a person with a big heart to deal with conflicts in the right way. I also want to let everybody know that a loaded gun doesn't make a person a man or woman. It doesn't define who they are. But what really defines who a person really is what's in their heart. So again, we recently took several guns off the streets here in Vicksburg that had been used to perpetrate a crime. And those weapons was in the homes of family members, and they were brought there by kids, 16, 17 years of age. It comes a time where family members have to step up and say, this weapon doesn't belong here. I didn't bring it here. And a 16 or 17-year-old child certainly shouldn't have it. So again, but we were able to remove those weapons from the street. So I just asked the community to be observant in what's going on in your home and get involved with what your youth are doing. So at this time, again, thank all of you for coming. We're going to release the balloons in just a few minutes. I'm going to call on Angela Davis to come with closing and a poem. Angela.
I've listened to the testimonies you all have given about your loved ones who were killed, who you have lost. And I want to continue to encourage you to continue to have hope in your heart, continue to have love in your heart. Don't allow destruction to come in with hatred. Even if a crime hasn't been solved, even if it's in the process of being solved, continue to love even the very ones you don't know who did it. Because what it does for you, it continues to help you to heal and to grow. Because when we walk in unforgiveness, no matter what the situation is, you are hurting yourself. And that person who did the crime, they're going on. So I want to encourage you to keep believing in what is good, what is right, and continue to remember your loved ones and the laughter that I heard you all have, and encouraging one another. You know, don't get down in the despair of the physical body being gone, but remember the memories of that person.
That's how you keep them alive. And the things that we're doing today help us to remember what's going on and to remember to reach out to one another so that we don't have to deal with crime on this level anymore. If one takes a stand, everybody can take a stand. So I want to read this poem to you that was given to me to read. And at the end of reading it, we will release the balloons in the memories of our loved ones and friends. If tears could build a stairway, if tears could build a stairway and memories were a lane, we would walk right up to heaven and bring you back again. No farewell words were spoken, no time to say goodbye. You were gone before we knew it, and only God knows why. Our hearts still ache in sadness, and secret tears still flow. What it means to lose you, no one will ever know. We know now that you want us to mourn for you no more. So here's a message from our hearts, filled with prayer and love, to a place where mercy flows and the heavens up above. Remember your loved ones. Lift them up. Lift each other up. Raise your balloons at this time. And let them go.